to dive. Can't tell if it's the dusk or if it's breaking into dawn. Are we going on or are we going on? Somebody said a storm is coming, but it's been a long, long time. I don't know what's up ahead, but please, baby, don't you look behind. So tell me, is it gonna be free energy forever, or just the same damn old grind? Singing, sweet land of the weary and the wild. Are we 1 year from the grave, or is this just the beginning? My sweet child, oh, you're my star-spangled fever dream. Half a savior, half a liar. 250 summers and we're going higher, singing, sweet land, going. The neighbors might be coming with a casserole or a gun. The kids are either screaming or they're laughing in the sun. Is the timeline coming undone, or is it coming in clear? The fireworks are blinding, but I'll keep on dancing here. And nobody can promise me that we're gonna make it to the light. So is it an awakening, or is this a knife in the night? So come on, brother, sister, stand up tall, because guess what? Where we go one, we go all. If you can hear this from the other side, across this great quantum divide, don't get me wrong, now is the time to stay strong. So, with all of that, I'll say, God bless the USA! God bless the USA! Singing, sweet land, going on. 250 years and it's going on and on the edge of a forever or the edge of being gone. Is it midnight? Is it morning? Is it ruining? Is it time to rise? 250 summers gone by. So just go on and tell me those sweet lies, the kind as sweet as these Julys. Going on and going gone. Light up, light, higher. Sweet land's going on. Sweet land, going, gone. So please, just know that we can still rebuild. We can still make something better.
Well, hello everyone. CaptKyle here, and welcome to the end game. And tonight, as this always seems to happen, we always having technical issues, and it is that time. So, Lieutenant Colonel Bosi was not able to get on. Had major technical issues with their internet right now. We had planned to even not do it live, but even to just record it. And so we're going to do something and we'll try to get this squared away. But he's having all kinds of issues. And it's always, it seems like, when they're coming on with us, more so than anyone else. And I've had so many issues with my platform here as well. I've had to hardwire it all, petition my computer into a separate system, and multiple internets. It's just absolutely crazy what I've had to do, and I still get attacked. So, um, but we are going to trudge forward. As you know, I think it's important for you guys that at least we do some kind of Q&A. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a Q&A for you guys tonight until we can potentially get him on as soon as possible. So before we get started, we're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Lord, I just thank you for allowing us to participate in your plan for humanity and for our world. Father, thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do for us, those things that are seen and unseen. And our heart is in the right place, and allow us to just continue to push forward no matter what the world shows us, because we know you're in control. We know those things have to be broken down. You are the potter, and that potter needs to be molded. But at first, it must be broken. And these systems, these corrupt systems, have to be broken, brought down, so that they can be rebuilt, and rebuilt in a godly manner and in a humane manner, not this evil, corrupt system that we're operating in today. And the truth is that we are going to prevail, because we know you're in control in all things, and that the enemy is on its last leg. And Father, we thank you for it, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So, again, Lieutenant Colonel is wished he could be here, and
Yeah, so apparently they're having some major fog, and the fog interferes with their internet. So, very shortly before the show, their admin, Laura, contacted me to let me know they could not get on the internet at all. So we're going to try to reschedule it, whether it be through a Zoom call or try to go live again. We don't know, but we will try our best to get them back on. We've really been trying. It just seems like, last time it was Captain's, I think, work that happened, and it's just seems like every time we try, something interferes. But we're going to keep pushing all along. And before we get started, Captain, I just wanted to thank everyone for praying for me. And I really feel like your prayers and your love and your support have been so powerful and helping me get better. So thank you very much, everybody, for that. It's no words can describe how grateful I am to have a family of loving people like y'all behind me, especially this guy sitting next to me.
so I thank you for that. And like I said before, even the other day, is that when these things happen, we have to put our families first. We have to consider those things that are important. You guys are important, but the show and the stresses of the channel and all that, they're secondary when it comes to having to make sure that our health and our families are taken care of first. And it's like, just like the last time when Lieutenant Colonel was here, and Robert was going to come on my work. I had an emergency is at work, and I got called in, and had to restart everything. It was horrible. And so those things happen, and we just kind of have to roll with it. And we've learned over the years not to get all bent out of shape, and just put perspective and priorities straight, and everything will be fine in the end, because we know that God is in control. And because of that, it will happen the way it's supposed to happen. And if we just allow it to operate within its timing. And so with that, um, you know, there's some things that are actually happening right now. in the world that are pretty important because the whole situation with what's going on with President Trump right now and Iran and Europe and NATO and all of that. These things have been decided quite a long time ago. I've talked about this before, but it has to go through this process and it has to play out in the order in which it's going to play out. The issues are is that those individuals that are a part of this, what's been being presented to the public as assassination plots and so on and so forth, um, that had been brought all the way into the cartel. And the military's been dealing with the cartel and offering the cartel options on, and whether you like this or you don't, it doesn't matter, is offering the cartels a way out to stay out of the business at hand on straightening things out and to go legitimate and giving them opportunities to go legitimate in business and in standing down and out of the way. And if they don't, then they're going to end up on the wrong side of history and on the wrong side of flat ground, if you know what I'm saying. And so they have been given those options. And so I truly believe that the majority of that has been dealt with, and those that are going to participate, as far as it goes, have already agreed to those things. And it's the exposure to the corruption within their government, the president, and the elected officials. And those individuals have to be exposed for their corruption. And that's what's happening right now, as well. And, with the whole plane situation coming back from Turkey, they always fly with both planes. They don't fly with just a single Air Force One plane. They always bring both planes. And um, that's always the backup. They always have a backup to the backup plan. And so that situation was brought into the forefront as like the three-car Monty. And
Yeah,
look over
like
there.
the nut trick. Which nut is the
Yeah,
real
the cup.
plane under?
Yeah, with the cup trick with the ball and the three card
Yes, excuse
Monty
me.
and so on and so forth. And it was all about look over here, not over there. And if they don't know what you're doing and you don't know what they're doing, they definitely don't, and they are panicking hardcore. And so just know that President Trump is in no actual danger, no matter what actually is presented, no matter what actually happens in the public realm. He is protected. And we've always known that he is secure and that there's no reason to be concerned with that. So don't get, with whatever happens or whatever doesn't happen, don't get all like a chicken with its head cut off, because that's not going to help anybody. And that is a part of why you woke up to begin with. Um, because, like I said, all of this has been decided a long time ago, and we're having to go through the motions of it all. Um, I told you that this was going to go down this way before it actually even started, that they're going to basically have to make a display so that it actually has stick appeal, because they could go in and actually do just like they did in Venezuela because of the technologies that we have, the super soldiers, the equipment that they have. They could go in and do absolutely anything that they wanted, stop any country within 24 hours. But in doing so, that would break down society in all of these other countries, because their militaries, their countries would at that point not any way, shape, or form be able to have any kind of ability to protect them from anything that we, as in the United States, chose to do. And so there's a balance on how much you allow people to know what you can or can't do, and do it in a way that in time those technologies are released, even where they're even starting to now show publicly that they're using direct energy weapons. And we've known that they've had all these for a long time, and they've been using them for a long time. And so all of this technology is being rolled out systematically in a process so that people can handle the change and handle it in a way that it doesn't break down society. So don't be in fear, because there's nothing to be fearful of. So one of the things that I did talk about in my last truck talk was that we are not going to have elections this year. And there is going to be a national emergency that's going to be declared by President Donald Trump. And in doing so, it is going to be over the treason, the stealing of the 2020 elections, all of the foreign adversarial countries that are involved in it, as well as the communist, socialist, Democrat movement within our country. And the mainstream media is going to, when that happens, they're going to sow division and spark the unrest that is going to basically enact the sleeper cells and the Antifa groups and those individuals across the country for those riots, for that crazy town to actually take place. The military is going to step in, but what a lot of people are not truly understanding is that the Epstein files, those aren't even close to being over with. Those files, when people say that they've been there to protect Donald Trump and his cronies and all of this other, no, it is about these other countries, the senators and the presidents and the
Prime
foreign ministers
ministers, yeah.
of all of these other countries, as well as our own, that are involved in the corruption within the trafficking of people, children, the trafficking of drugs, the trafficking of weapons, all of this, and the money movement of these tier one banks as well. And so that is going to bring down countries. It is going to get crazy, and the chaos is going to go off the chain. And so after saying that day, and then hearing Juan Pepe, that's his new nickname for me, started speaking about the same thing, and that these next 4 months and so on are going to be the most difficult that we've ever experienced. And so in the storm, we're in a two cat five, category hurricane, so to speak, which is okay, not nothing crazy. But when you get into a cat five, that's the highest that there is, just like the typhoon that's out there right now in the Western Pacific. Um, he's talking that when this is said and done by the middle to the latter part of this year, that we're going to be in a cat 6 or a cat 7, which does not even exist. That's a reality. And so it's important for us, you, to be in a stable mental place, and with your family, with your circle of influence. And so these petty little things that have been the nuisances and the upsets and so on and so forth, let all that shit go. Let it all go, so that we can all be on good, peaceful, solid ground and connected with the people that are important to us in our families, in our structure. That's what's most important. All of this other stuff is going to work itself out. It's going to.
Yes. So, Captain, you brought up a good point, because you remember that one DM that I sent you where a woman was very, very upset after your last truck talk talking about this because, our first inclination is what can we do to prepare? And there is so much that is not within our control, and that's where our faith must come in. That's where God is going to be there for us to lean into. And we've been preparing for this moment for a long, long time. We've been trying to prepare all of our family here. And I think you all are pretty ready. And we don't have a clear picture of what, like Captain said, cat 6. Cat 7 is unheard of. So, what does that even look like? We don't know. We can't tell you. But that's where your faith has to come in. That this is God's plan. He's taking us through this storm. He's holding on to us, and he's woken us all up for a reason, so that when this comes to that cat 6, you know what to do. You can calm your people down around you. In other words, there's nothing you can do right now except continue to work on your relationship with God and your faith, building your faith, so that when it is time, you are calm to be able to help people that have not gone through what we have and learned what we have. I hope that makes sense to everybody.
Yes. And so we can do what we can to, prepare water and food and those things that we can do. And if you don't have the ability to do much, do whatever you can in going down that pathway. But don't put yourself out because the military is going to be there. They're going to be able to supply people with the necessities that people need, whether it be medications, whatever those necessities are. During this period of time, the military is going to be um, operating on the streets. We have already been in martial law. It's what's called a limited martial law as needed publicly in certain areas, but we've already been under martial law for a long time now and operating under a continuity of government. And so continuity of government and martial law have been operating this entire time. And so it's all about being able to move us to the other side of this. And, they have been telling us those things in which are coming about the money, the monetary system, the sovereign wealth fund, the taxes are going away. All of these things are happening, but they're going to have to happen after the storm and after the destruction of what has to actually come to tear this all down. Because to rebuild, it has to be demoed. And so we're in the demo process right now, and it's going to be ugly, but in that, it doesn't have to be overwhelming, and you can still be at peace, because the peace that passes all understanding doesn't come from external, it comes internal. And all the world around you can be in complete chaos, and you can be in complete peace. I know I've experienced it many times. Um, Being in the middle of an emergency situation and being to where everything just slowed down. I was in complete peace. I mean, I actually jumped out of an airplane and my parachute did not open. And during that whole time, while I was trying to get it, well, it actually opened, but only partially. And I was kind of spinning around in circles. And my wife, she jumped out with a person where they were buddy doing it, and they were filming it, and she was the first one out because they were going to video it and everything for her. And I was the last one out of the plane. We were at 14,000 feet. And so my side of the canopy was twisted up and it was collapsed, and I was kind of spinning around in circles, and I was trying to get it unfurled. And so it was just like all the way around and around. But that whole time I was in complete peace that everything was going to be okay, and that I didn't panic and I didn't have anything to worry about. It was the weirdest thing when you're fallen like that and have really no control whatsoever and trying to gain it. And basically, at 2,000 feet, a little below 2,000 feet, dropped the primary parachute and opened up the secondary. It opened up right at about 1,000 feet, a little less than 1,000 feet. And I was the first one on the ground. And being the first one on the ground, I was the last one out of the plane. And so when my wife hit the ground, I was already standing there to greet her. And she was like, how did you get down here so fast? And so I didn't say anything to her because I didn't want her to scare her. I didn't want to ruin her experience that she'd had that day because she was really kind of, overwhelmed with the awesomeness of it. And when we were leaving, we were driving off, and one of the instructors was screaming at one of the guys that had packed my chute. And um, when we were driving away, I told her that my parachute didn't open and it was partially collapsed almost all the way to the ground. And she's like, "Oh, so that's why he was screaming, and that's why you got to the ground so fast." And I was like, "Yeah." And I didn't want to scare you and stuff there because God had it. Everything was okay, and I was not worried about it at all. And that's where it's like it's the weirdest thing when everything just slows down to like slow motion, and there's like a hyper focus on stuff. And I'm telling you that you can experience that very thing in all of the craziness that's going to come if you don't focus on that as the end all be all, because it's not. Focus on what is to come and where we're going. And this is the destruction part so that we can get to the other side and that God is 100% in control. And if you allow that peace is there for you. Focus on that and it will come. So,
So,
um,
Captain, you want to talk a little bit about our opening video tonight that we
uh,
played
yeah, so there's a I want you to, if you would, post that decode of
of
that
Dave's? Yeah,
of Dave.
he did
And
such a great decode.
he did do a really great job in the decode of that. And it is a real hat tip to all of the experiences that we have gone through. Um, Everything from the quantum to portals to the red folder, and President Kennedy being the start of this and Trump being the finisher, and everything in between. And you know, it's it was an incredible, really incredible video, and for Elon to post it 3 times was very significant. And then the decodes that were done on it, I think Dave and them did the very best job in recognizing all of the hat tips that were in it and all of the points that were trying to be made through it all. And it was absolutely incredible. And I don't want to do that injustice on, what they did, because like I said, they did a great job. So, Kelly, go ahead and post
Yeah,
that.
I'm posting it now. This is their forte. That's what they do. They decode, and there
And
were
they did
so
a
many
great job.
breadcrumbs. They just did an awesome job. I mean, right down to that the one Q drop where she was standing in front of the like a time clock with the Q drop on it and the time and the date, everything matched up. And they had Patrick Gunnels on it too, and he read it, which he's a brilliant. He reads things so brilliantly. And also about the portal, I think that was my favorite part because seeing those presidents holding that folder and them all just about kind of near the portal going to try to enter it. Like Kennedy looked like he was the closest of entering it before President Trump did actually enter the portal. And then when Obama was getting hauled away. So,
Yeah.
it's really full of some excellent breadcrumbs for us. And then, Captain, also, if we could touch a little bit about all the shout outs we've been getting from the government accounts. Like I just sent you in your personal DM the latest that was posted this afternoon. And if you want to put up on the screen, I mean, at this point, you just wonder, like, are they screwing with us now? Like, it's gotten so obvious.
Um, yeah. So
Did you see that
there.
one?
Yeah. So
Put
it.
that one up on the screen, Captain. Share it with everybody, if you don't mind.
All right.
This was from Secretary Sean Duffy talking about the airports across that have been
Airports
switched from
across
old
America
paper
have
strips
switched
to electric. Here we go.
to the old paper strips, electronic flight strips. Air traffic controllers have been paper for too long. Now we're going to go digital, and this is just the beginning. Now boarding brand new air traffic control system. 17 towers installed electronic flight strips. Not 16, not 18, not 20, not 15, but 17.
Big and bold.
Right in the middle. And yeah, so um, and this is what they've been doing. I mean, it's even with like the, talking the other day, what's his name for it that's on CNN? The guy that's the Trump guy that's always on there that's like getting fighting with him and stuff. He talked about the other day, he was on a phone call for 17 minutes talking to when what's his name was sick and in the hospital, and he said that he talked to him for 17 minutes, not 15 minutes. Not I talked to him for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. No, it
Mitch
was 17.
McConnell when Scott was talking. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
exactly. And now as soon as he said it, it was like that's just so an abnormal statement of making a 17-minute conversation, not 15 minutes or 20, to be that precise and to be that number, right? It's just like they're just overboarding it with absolutely everything. And this is something that you should see and to know that they are 100% in control. It may not seem like they're in control. It may not be the way that you want it controlled, but it is the way that it must be controlled and the way that it is going to go down. And God is in control. And to know that on the other side, it will be all worth it. And you will see that. And there will be no doubt that you will agree that it was worth everything that we went through on the other side. And it's not that far away. It's really not. For all the shit we've endured and all the stuff we've had to go through for all of these years and years, that this is just a drop in the bucket in time that we're having to endure. But this is when the darkest days are ahead. And this is when it's going to seem the longest. But it's going to be beautiful on the other side of all of this. And just know that that like you said the other day when we got that DM from the woman that was concerned about her family and things like that. I want you to understand that when things start to go down and things start to go sideways, there's going to be a progression of events. It's going to happen relatively quickly. There's going to be travel advisories, there's going to be travel restrictions, and we are more than likely going to go to a situation where only essential workers are going to be available to work for a period of time. Um, and this is all necessary. Um, but if you're traveling or your significant other is somewhere else, they are going to have time to get back home and to get to a safe location. If they're outside of the country, the State Department is going to work with trying to get them back home, knowing where things are going when things start to get really unhinged, because they're going to. And everything is getting set up where, just like the other day with the event at 4th of July, there was the no signal that happened. And also that there was, when they did the evacuation, what people are having to get their heads around is that these are all systematically starting to prepare people for the crises that are going to come and the EBS that is coming, and to prepare people for it. And what they're doing is they're basically foreshadowing and preparing people for what is to come. And they're gauging people's responses to how they're receiving and how they're operating within this structure. But it's all coming. But don't be concerned with your family, your travel, things like that. Just pay attention to travel restrictions, and when we start getting advisories or to be notified that we need to stay home or we need to do this, know that those are there for our protection for what is going to happen. Because when shit starts to happen on the streets, they're not going to play no games. And if they don't want you out on the street, that basically is determining the people that are out on the streets that are not following the lawful orders for us to not be there, then you're going to be held as a considered combatant and dealt with accordingly. So don't be like you need to be out there to give them a hand. They don't need your help. What you do is need to be able to protect your house, your home, and your family. And that's why it's important for you to establish that relationship with everyone and put that importance on that very thing starting right now, because you have time to begin to mend those fences and heal those wounds that have happened over the years. And you don't have to be a I told you so or any of that crap right now. Just act like none of that matters, because when the shit starts to happen, they're going to know that you knew, and they're going to want answers at that point. And start answering with the best of your ability to help them with what they're asking for. Don't go offering a bunch of other. It's already going to be crazy enough for them dealing with the chaos that they're seeing. So don't go straight into the adrenochrome and the eating babies and all that other crap. Just stick to what they ask until they get to a point where they're ready. That will come, because disclosure is coming. And, their open contact is just around the corner as well. And I don't know if the deep state are still going to try, because it's a possibility that they're still going to try a alien invasion type situation, and do it in a way that is going to be overwhelming to the public. So if that does happen, it's not the good guys, it's the bad guys. Don't get caught up in it. That will get exposed. It will get brought down. It will get dealt with, but don't get caught up in it. Stay that peace, stay that calm, be that lighthouse for your circle of influence, because that's why God actually raised you up for a time such as this. You're so important to everything that's going on. God knows that you can deal with what you have already dealt with. You've wore the stripes. You got the t-shirt. It's hanging in your closet of the shit you've been through. Yes, You're going to
And
go through some
think
more.
of it, guys. There's so much that is coming up now. I mean, Captain and I were just talking about Admiral Byrd.
Yeah,
Admiral Byrd? No,
yeah.
Admiral. Yeah,
Admiral
no,
Rogers.
Rogers. Sorry, I don't know why I had Admiral Byrd on my mind. I guess the aliens and all that. So yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Admiral Rogers is kind of coming back into the news, and it's been how long, years and years since we've talked about him or anyone's really talked about him. So,
He's been a
Captain,
part of the Florida grand jury, secret grand jury proceedings, sessions. They're all coming back. None of this has gone away. It's all been happening behind the scenes, and it's all going to come out very shortly. And when it does, chaos is going to hit the fan. It is. And so just be prepared for it. You don't have to actually start talking about it right now to your friends, your family, none of that. Just let it happen. The events are what is going to wake them up. Just know that. And when it does, be that peace, be that stability, and be that lighthouse that they need when chaos happens. That's what God woke you up for. And you can do what you've already been through. You're already there. Just trust yourself and know that you can endure. I mean, I have heard from so many people for so many years, I can't make it any further. I can't like, and you trudged through another year. You made it through another year, and you didn't think you were going to make it through year two, and you made it through year five, and you made it through year six, and you've just continued to bury. Well, we're at the final leg right now. The finish line is in sight, and before the finish line is when it gets the most difficult. It's the darkest before the dawn, and that's where we're at. But the dawn is coming. A new day is coming. The golden age is here. But to get there, we have to destroy this old crap that has been infesting everything that we have all been a part of our entire lives. It's all got to come down, all of it. And it is all going to come down. And it's going to come down right before your eyes. You've asked for this, and now it's here. So don't be shocked when the wheels fall off of everything. Just
yeah,
remember that.
this is going to happen. Not that I know it's going to happen quickly, like soon, but when it happens, it's going to happen so quick. You're not going to know it hit you. So it's going to be like that. Like Captain always said that morning when you woke up to 911, like nobody ever expected that, and how everybody's lives changed that day. So, yeah, it's going
So,
to, when it comes.
one of the things that I was talking with Kelly about, and how Juan has always been in the know of this stuff. The people, the military, the special force people, the people that he has been involved with, he's always known what's coming, but he could never talk about it. So he'd always talk around things, and he was always the um, story guy, which, lost most people right off the bat because they didn't want to listen to his stories. And that was okay because that was where he was and that's what he had to do. But it was for plausible deniability no matter what. But if you listen to how he said things and what he talked about, he was talking about exactly those things that were coming. And yeah, you didn't like how it was being delivered and whatever, it didn't matter. But now he's actually being a lot more straightforward with, speaking about how difficult things are going to be. People are going to go to jail. The financial system's all about to change, all of this stuff. And he is now able to show his face publicly. That was a major, major change. To see him to the point now where he's openly showing his face publicly was a key indicator of where we're at right now at the final stage. Know that to be true.
Okay, so why don't we get to some questions? There was one in Rumble right after we played the movie. They said, "Why was Bush walking towards it?" And the only thing that I could think of, Captain, is, we know he turned, right? He turned evidence. So, you
Yeah,
think that was
Senior
anything?
Bush actually did turn and actually did give all the information up at the end.
That was Junior in the video, though.
But Senior did actually turn everything. Junior did not, actually. Junior fought all the way through. Um, but he was spineless and he really didn't have any real
He
power.
was really just
Uh,
a puppet.
he was just a puppet. Now, Senior, he was an evil
Yes,
person.
yes.
Being that where he was at, he was there on the day. He was a part of the commissioning and the planning of the execution of uh, um, uh, President. I just freaking had a freaking brain fart. Kennedy, and that was his inauguration for him to be able to take control and power for the CIA. And that was his initiation for that specifically. And he was read into and knew everything that was going on because of the CIA that he was in charge of before coming into the position he was in. And so um, he was a bad man, very. And Junior, he was only a puppet. Many things he wasn't even read into or even have knowledge of. Um, Obama, same thing. He was a useful pawn, and he was a very useful pawn through most of the stuff, but he was a made person specifically through the Saudis and um, that whole corrupt Muslim empire that were trying to subvert the will of the people and take us down from within. Um,
So maybe what those folders were intending on the message was, we often looked at those folders like the presidential peds, right? And in those presidential peds, there'd be a lot of information and disclosure in them about that particular president. So,
there's very
right?
potential to that. And the execution of specific military orders on the continuity of government and how those things were going to operate specifically. And that's
Yeah, so
why
like
the
Trump
deep
and
state was
Kennedy were all
trying
in.
to
They're
happen.
like, yeah, let's go, because whatever they're doing, fine, let the world know. But the other ones, hauling off Obama, couldn't just imagine what was in his to
Um,
us
so,
all.
so the thing with that is that where it's going to really have a lot of divide is they're going to try to divide us across, just like they did with George Floyd and black and white and the whole shebang, the Muslim against the Christian, and they're going to try to create a civil unrest to the point that we fall into civil war, which we will not, but they will try their very best to get us to that place. So that whole Civil War movie that was put together by the Obamas for the United States. I think it was released in 22
Yeah, I
or
remember that.
24 or something like that. 24, I think it was. But then that other one with the takeover was also by the Obamas, um, where this has all been a setup of trying to take over the power of the country and bring you to your knees. But it is not going to happen. We win. They have already lost. We have just got to go through the process so that the rest of the rats can expose themselves so that they can be taken down for the crimes that they're going to do, because they're not going to be held accountable to a certain degree for crimes that haven't happened yet. So they have to do the crime to do the time, and that's what's being played out right now. So it's
Okay, we
controlled
got
chaos.
a question here, Maureen Rowe. I've heard talk of Q Day. Is this going to lead to the fall of banking and stock market system scare event? Though they claim it is not until 2032. Not sure who she means by they. If you can answer, let me know if I'm on track or off base.
So all of that's not going to happen in 32. It's going to happen this year into the first part of next year, all of this. So
Okay. And
yeah,
then Dottie
I was trying to
Vagan
think about how, if I could answer it anymore, but I can't right now.
Dottie Bagan says, "Is JFK Jr. really alive, and when will we get to see him if he is?"
Yeah, he actually is. And the thing is that it's just like where now 107 has actually begun to show his face. For him to be able to come out and begin to show his face and to start to make the claims that he's making and being more specifically open about those and not the story guy that always been, um, is that significant marker of the change that's coming. And so I don't know when that Junior is going to come out publicly, but he is going to. Um, there's been the people in the White House, the people of part of the Trump administration, all of those have known that he's been alive this entire time. A lot of the media has known that he's been alive this entire time. But under national security, they couldn't say a word about it. If they did, they'd spend the rest of their life in prison. And so um, it's just coming. So don't put so much focus on when or that. It is going to happen, and when it does, he is going to be one of the ambassadors to help heal the divisions within the country, because his name and his person is still a part of Camelot, and he carries a massive amount of weight in that of who he is. And so when he does come back onto the scene, him and Caroline, they are going to have a massive influence on the healing of our country, the healing of our nation, and the healing of this world. Others as well that are actually in protective custody as well, they are going to do the same thing. It's going to be absolutely incredible when these individuals come back out. So,
Even one talked about. I took a magnesium bath right before we went on, just so I would feel better, and I was just how on X like videos come on and they just keep going through. Well, a video from 107 came on, and he was talking about Junior, and then he spoke about he mentioned Valhalla. I think that was the video when he talked about Valhalla and how. Do you remember that one?
and Valhalla is a place, and it's not a realm. And so
He talked about it being witness protection.
it is part of witness protection. It's where the witness, it's a place, just put it that way. And so, like the show, um, what was it called? Where's, oh, what was it? It was the guy. You know how they had the thing on the shoulders and stuff, or Atlas, the Three Eye Atlas, not Three Eye Atlas, but the show, the movie Atlas. What was it called? Atlas something. Um, and the main character of it was going around basically disappearing people of importance, right? And they were all in a place that was basically shielded off from the rest of the world, and um, they were living in like a community where they didn't have to worry about any of the corruption and the technology and all the crap of the world. And it was, golly, I can't remember. It's like what that was. Uh, Atlas Shrugged, and that's what it was. What was the name of the thing?
When Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, Atlas Shrugged is the show.
Yeah. Yeah, Shannon Sophia just texted me that when Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, and it was it's multiple parts and so on and so forth. And John Galt. So it was like, where's John Galt? And it's kind of like that same scenario. If you were to ever watch that show, the similarities to all of this is absolutely it's so much. It's unreal. There's like three different parts to it. Atlas Shrugged 3, 2, 1, and um, just watch it and get your own opinion from it. But like I said, so much tells so much about what's actually happening right now, from Wag the Dog to you name it. It's so amazing how many shows actually talk about all this stuff. And so the situation that we're in right now is that we are just on the verge of exposure and justice and all of those things. And if you just allow it to play out and don't get caught up in it, everything's going to be all right. Just don't get too wound up by nothing, because it's
Okay.
none of this is permanent. It's all temporal. All of
The
this, even the chaos, is temporal.
the next question is from Pepper. She says, some have said Trump will be going away, so he won't be completing his term. How? I'm not sure. Do you believe this is true?
I don't know. I really
I'm not
don't. I
sure
know.
where people got that from because, I've asked people that have said that or believed it is like, where did you get that from? What, like, how things just come up and there's no cue drops to reference them back to,
Yeah.
and like it's just somebody's interpretation of something that starts getting floated around.
So he did do that at one time, and he did disappear from the scene, and he told us that he was going away.
Yeah, when he
Um,
was at the wash machine place, right?
that's
Maytag or
right,
whatever
right
it is.
on the whirlpool, because he was
Yep,
about to
the
go into
whirlpool.
battle with the major pharmaceutical companies, and that there were a lot of bad people that didn't like what he was doing, and that he was a threat, and that he was going to potentially go away for a while. And he did, and he has. So for him to do it again, and for all of this, I don't, I don't see that happening. Um, I really don't. So if they were to portray the fact that something was to happen to him just to remove him from the circumstances at the moment, um, I could I could understand why they would do that. But there's not any guarantees that that's going to happen, and he is secure. The Q
Yeah.
drops do tell us that he is
Yes.
secure,
Yes.
and nothing to be fearful of that at all, period. No matter what they show us.
Yeah, and he
That
has
is
to
in the Q drops.
stay. How did they put it? He has to stay kind of out of it. Whatever gets revealed, he's got to stay separate from it. I
And
forget
always
what the
has.
terminology they used. Okay, the next question is, what's your take on election emergency or no midterms? So you did talk about that in the beginning, about how you felt about that. Jay Bass, in case you didn't hear it, Captain went over that in the beginning. We also, Claudia, our dear Claudia, who thank you so much. She helped me tremendously keeping this channel going. She's a beautiful soul. She made the video of Captain's talking about that in the truck talk about the midterms, and then she also made side by side what Juan was talking about, and kind of similar. So look for that video that was posted, Jay Bass. I'll try to get you the link so you can watch it again. The next question, Professor Q: how long after America will we see improvement and clarity down under? Many thanks from down under.
Um,
Excuse me.
it's going to be about 6 months to a year. The rest of the world is about 6 months to a year, at least, behind what they're going to witness here in the United States completely.
So, Captain, when we talked about EBS, right, in the past, and we talked about that being a worldwide EBS,
And it's going to be.
so, I think you're looking at some clarity because if that's a worldwide EBS, that's going to affect, the world. Uh, but
So
as
it's
far as,
the
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I get yeah, so what you're talking about is absolutely true. But the thing is that that is going to happen, and it is going to be for everybody. But the control, the takedown, and the path forward out of the situation is going to happen here before it happens there. They're going to have to deal with the chaos. They're going to have to deal with the corruption. They're going to have to actually stand in the gap for their countries for a period of time before the military actually steps in their country for them in their behalf.
yeah. But you're definitely going to be seeing stuff right along with us. So have hope on that.
Correct. That's why I brought in the Epstein files, the Epstein saga, because those things are not just for America. Those are going to tie in the countries all over the world, their leaders and their governments, as well as the countries that were a part of the treason and the attack on America. So, and trying to subdue our elections and take over our country that way. So, in that aspect, their involvement was an act of war and was the same in the military's eyes as actually dropping a WMD in the middle of our country. That is how you're going to be handled, just for your information.
I love you too, Claudia. I'm just reading a question here on Rumble. So this is a good question. The 34 satanic sites, when will we see the rods of God? Do you take those out? Is that still the plan? So I've thought about that, especially DC, because how much, love and pride President Trump is putting into refurbishing all these historical sites and fountains and statues in the White House, and then building the military, complex underneath the White House. So I don't know. What do you think, Captain?
I know a lot of them are going to. I don't know if all of them are. So I don't. I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer to it right at this point.
Okay. And let's see. What is the Indian PM Modi doing down under in New Zealand?
I don't know exactly, um, but he is a part of the White Hats and preparing circumstances for what's about to take place because a lot of stuff was happening over in Turkey that people weren't aware of. Military operations that were being handled behind the scenes, and people being actually arrested. A lot of stuff was actually happening there during that NATO summit.
Yeah, so Wanda hints us. I was wondering if arrests have started on the city and county level yet. And I'm not sure, excuse me, Wanda, how long you've been following Captain Kyle's channel, but we post regularly about arrest. They have been going on for what, at least year and a half, nonstop
About
arrest at
2 years.
city and county level. Excuse me?
Yeah, since about the end of 2024, they've been nonstop.
Yeah. So, look over, like maybe do a keyword search on Captain Kyle's main channel and just put arrest and see all the posts that come up and you can read up all about them.
Thousands and thousands
Yeah,
all
it
around
is
the world.
crazy.
All right, well, let's do a couple more, and then we'll be back tomorrow for Robert.
Okay. Okay. Remember when Trump said last year that we get a Doge dividend this summer? What are your thoughts? Thank you.
Yeah, they're coming. I don't know exactly when, and if it's this summer or if it's after this summer. But if you listen to what he's talked about with the taxes and with the tariffs and what Secretary Besson has talked about, all of that is happening. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the timing of exactly when, none of us know. And this is all by design on purpose. So um, it's coming, though, guaranteed. And I know that people are in difficult times and that, it's needed. Um, but just put your trust and faith in God, and God has a plan for you and what you're actually going through. And you can endure exactly what you're going through because God wouldn't put you through anything that you cannot handle. It may not be what you want to handle, but that is actually making you into exactly what God has got for you on the other side. That is the plan. So
Okay.
you're being developed.
Kelly Heat will up. Let's see. This was a good one. There was a two-part one. Okay, it's from Buffalo Gal 2. She said, do we need to pull out monies from credit union? I've heard over the last decade we don't need to, as the Alliance has all our info. So, yes, that's correct.
So
That's what we just talked
yeah,
about, right, Captain?
yeah, I talked about that. But your money inside the credit unions are pretty secured. I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. Tier one banks, I wouldn't be trusting a tier one bank. Period. We're not even supposed to be operating within the tier bank. That's a commercial bank system. But your monies are secure. If I had, like somebody asked me the other day if they were selling their house and they had a whole bunch of cash because they weren't going to reinvest in the house, they were going to just have it in the bank. What would I do with it? And basically, I would divide it up into a couple of different um, credit
Credit
unions.
unions, yeah.
Yeah, I put it within a couple of different credit unions that those are insured, and they're insured by the Treasury Department, not the FDIC, even though that's what the FDIC it says, but it's actually they're being protected by the Treasury under Basel III, and um, so I wouldn't be concerned about that. But as far as do we need any like money out of the bank over the next potential month or two or three or whatever, uh, I would keep cash on hand for the potentiality of not having the internet working and your bank cards and all that kind of stuff, or not having access to any of that stuff. Um, so emergency cash fund, or just around the house for basic necessities in times of difficulties is just being wise. So I think that that's a smart thing to do, but I wouldn't go like emptying my banks and stuff. I haven't, and I'm not going to. So that's
Okay,
just
this
me.
is the second part of her question. She says, "Do you, Captain, believe in the soul contract, in that we chose the life we have been living in all this time? I can't believe I would have chosen an abusive life for myself." Yeah.
Absolutely. And the deal is, though, is that you don't. It's all about experiencing everything, good, bad. Some You've been here multiple times, and you've been a good guy, you've been a bad guy, you've been a guy, you've been a girl, you've been white, you've been black, you've been all of the above. And it's all about experiencing all of the different aspects of reality and experience. And it's all for the experience of our creator, because he's experiencing all of it simultaneously through all of us for his good. So yes, you did choose those things, and it's temporal, and it's for the experience, and it's not for the good experience, it's for the bad experience of it, and finding your way through it, finding love through it, and being able to persevere through all of it. All of this has been an experience. That's exactly what the human experience is a experience, good, bad, or indifference. So you did choose it, and you chose to come here for such a time as this, right here, right now, as well. So,
And there was a
and it's a
couple
good thing.
questions, Captain,
What's that?
about timing. And we don't know timing. We look for events strictly. So no one knows dates because war is fluid and things change. So we just watch events and report on those and kind of connect the dots and see how much closer we are getting. But unfortunately, no one can give you a set time.
Yeah, because there's only a few people, and I mean less than a handful, that actually know how things are actually going to unfold and when. So, and that ain't nobody that's going to be talking on any platform of any kind, anywhere, ever. So, don't even worry about it. So, all right, guys, love you, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Kelly, we see you tomorrow
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
And enjoy yourself. Enjoy your
Love
weekend.
you
Enjoy
all.
and live and love your family. That's what's important right now. So,
Yep.
good night, everybody.
Love you. Good night.